Welcome to another episode of The American Dream, the only show that goes against the grain of that negative media, where our goal is to educate, empower, and engage your American dream. Got a great show lined up for you with some inspiring guests. Of course, as we do the show, don't forget you can also follow us on social media, AmericanDreamNetwork.tv. That being said, we got a show to do. Let's start it right now. Every single day, you are consumed with information. The 24/7 negative news cycle and the pop culture that's polluting the airways, all selling out for the ratings game. Well, guess what? There's a more positive way to look at life. You live in the greatest city in the greatest country on the planet. Every day with our elite network of professionals, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage. And now it's time to fight for your American dream. Now for the word on the American Dream. Look, the American Dream has changed. Right now I'm writing a book called American Dream 2.0, and it's about the future of the American Dream and the ability to dream about your goals, your aspirations, and how you can make them come true. Let me give you a real life example. I'm a guy from the Midwest. I went through a market crash, had over $100,000 in debt, lots of challenges, but through perseverance was able to start a media company. Now, there's no manual, no one's ever paid me to host shows or anything like that, but what we did is we got with partners, we created an idea. Next thing you know, we had a studio, we're producing a show called The American Dream, where our goal is to combat negative media. Now, you see us on air, we're not owned by any network, we're commercial free, so you see us on TV, but the big play for us is digitally, and the stuff you can do on social media. Now is the best opportunity in the history of mankind to build a brand, to build a business. So today's story isn't really about me. I just share that with you as a point of reference. What about you? What is your passion? It could be a hobby. It could be your children, your church, your charity, pets, whatever. Whatever your passion is, you live in an online world now where you can get that story out, you can build a following, you can build a brand, and you can actually build a business. That is the American Dream 2.0. We are in a major cultural shift. We really want to empower yours and help you to take advantage of these great opportunities. That's why you hear a lot of our stories about the entrepreneurial journey. I hope you can check us out, not only today, but online on social media. Cheers to your American Dream 2.0. All right, when we talk about things like the American Dream, nobody illustrates it better than this guy who is a serial entrepreneur, CEO, and author, Grant Cardone. Grant, always good to have you on the American Dream. Thanks for coming on.
Craig, always good to be with you, my friend.
So bring us up to speed. You just got out of this big event. You had like 10,000 plus people, all these big name speakers, rocked the event, sent a big ripple through the entrepreneurial community. Where are you going now?
Hey, entrepreneurs are the new rock stars of the 21st century. It's the only way out is to start thinking entrepreneurial, creating multiple flows of income, having different platforms that you can that can take care of your family and your community and society. I mean, people have to start thinking about scale today and multiple opportunities and distribution channels.
So this is something that you're coaching people up on. Give me an example of how let's start with those who are new to it. How are you getting people to get out of the gates and get into this entrepreneurial world where a lot of businesses fail? How are you getting people to take that risk?
First of all, the think has to get bigger, okay? So the first thing you have to confront is the middle class in America. People don't want to talk about it, but it's a failing class of people. Like, the middle class was not built for true freedom. It was built on the idea that we in the middle class, and I was brought up in the middle class, did better than people in other countries, particularly third world countries. So the concept today is, look, this is not your daddy or your grandparents' economy. People need to think bigger and to get outside that. And it's possible probably today more than any other time, because you can now distribute your message, your brand, your company, your ideas on so many different networks that was not available in the 50s, 60s, 70s, even 10 years ago.
Well, what I love about you, Grant, is you're not just a guy who's on stage doing the rah-rah thing. You're actually out there living it, rolling up your sleeves, doing it yourself. What are some of the things you have going on now?
Well, I have 7 businesses right now. So they're all self-funded businesses, start up from scratch. We don't use investors' money. We don't use the VC market. We don't go to Silicon Valley. We don't go to New York and raise money. I'm not saying those things are bad, but they're just not you know, you hear about the Facebooks, right? But you don't hear about the everyday guys and gals out there that are figuring out how do I raise money by going to the marketplace and selling a product or a service and cash flowing my business to grow my business without giving pieces and parts of my business away. These are 7 companies that are privately held in 7 different sectors. So it's about creative thought, big commitment, scaling, cash flow, attracting great people, and pushing underneath the radar, if you will, not of Wall Street. You know, CNBC is not going to cover my story, but there's millions of entrepreneurs that can be doing what I'm doing for my family, for our employees, to build a small business and hopefully be productive.
Well, in other words, you're not accepting the VC, you're bootstrapping it, you're creating a product or a service, and you're cash flowing your business by the sales that you're creating. Is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, totally. Old school, right? And keeping the money and keeping control and ownership of the business. And again, we do this in, like, one of these businesses has $1 billion worth of real estate. So I have not gone to the Blackstones and the Fidelities and the Goldman Sachs of the world to fund that. Instead, I've done it either because of my other company's cash flow, which nobody learns anything about in college today. Cash flow is the holy grail of business. It is the holy grail of the household. It is the holy grail of anything that's going to function with survivability in the future. It's what every household and every individual really goes to school to learn and does it.
What are you doing in the way of the real estate market now? And how do you feel about the real estate market?
Well, I love sectors of it and am very concerned about other sectors. I would stay away from single family homes. I would definitely stay away from retail, but anything that produces income long-term, particularly multifamily, affordable multifamily, I think that we have probably 20 or 25 years of upside in the multifamily space.
So you're pretty bullish on that space?
Again, cash flow. Cash flow is king. Real estate is not the king. Location's not the issue. If the property cash flows positive over long periods of time, you're going to have appreciation in the future, particularly with what looks like some inflation that's coming.
How can people follow you on social media, Grant?
Just put my name in, Grant Cardone. Whatever channel you're on, Grant Cardone will find me.
Awesome. Grant Cardone, and you are a true mover and shaker entrepreneur, and you're teaching others how to do it. The illustration of the American dream. Always great having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Look, if you have questions on this stuff, we talk a lot about real estate. We love connecting you with the right people, even if it's just to follow the guests that we have on. Reach out to us online at AmericanDreamNetwork.tv. More of the show coming up next. All right, welcome back to the American Dream. I love business stories, I love the entrepreneurial journey, and I love people that just come up with great ideas. We got all that combined into one. I don't even know how to explain it. Daniel Kosh, you're the Chief Growth Officer with BizX. You and I were chatting before we came in. I was like, you know what? Dude, I'm tossing you a beach ball, because it's really cool. So you've developed a community amongst businesses and a currency within it. So please, explain this.
Well, that was actually pretty good. I'm going to write that down.
It was lucky.
That was really good.
I was just like, so verbal vomit there.
It's good though. No, you're right. It's a community of business owners and a currency that they all use. Ultimately, what BizX is it's exactly what you said, a community of thousands of business owners. So we have just about 6,700 now participating.
Okay.
And what they do is they're able to find each other, leverage each other's strengths, learn from each other, but most importantly, they are able to buy and sell amongst each other with a digital currency that's called BizX dollars.
Okay, so clue in here. This is where it's about to get really interesting.
Yeah.
Putting you on the spot, will you pull out that card again?
Yeah.
Like, don't knock off your microphone as we're doing the interview. But so they got a card that is a card that can be used
at any of these vendors.
Right. So give me an example.
Yeah, so
give us a real life example.
So the rooting of our concept is we're looking to reinvent transactions and potential for small, medium-sized businesses. And what we did is we looked at barter, which was the original form of commerce.
Sure.
And we said, how do we
trading?
I have this, you have that, we
for
trade.
A sheepskin or
exactly.
whatever, right? Like old school.
Well, that's right. And it was the original form of commerce that was usurped by currency for one reason, which is that it's liquid.
Yeah.
So we don't have to have how much grain is worth how many chickens.
Sure.
And what if you don't need chickens? Then, or whatever.
Right.
So
but I get the concept.
So what we did, our vendors, they buy and sell amongst each other with this currency that they all accept. One way that they're able to buy is with this, through the app, through the website. But here's a real life example. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. If I'm a restaurant and you're a painter,
okay,
and I need to get my place touched up, it's going to cost me $2,000, whatever the case may be. As a business owner, cash is always scarce to a local business owner.
Yep.
I'm going to try to find someone to trade with me. And this is outside of BizX. So I'm going to call you up and I'm going to say, Craig, this is a $2,000 job. I know that through historical. Can I give you a $2,000 tab? And if you at the restaurant, and if you like my food and you've got the spare time, great deal. But all of those coincidences rarely line up. So in our world, what would happen is, I become a BizX member. I'm a restaurant owner. We've got 6,700 members who all have BizX dollars. So just by joining, I will earn BizX dollars through new customers that I haven't gotten because they can come and eat and not spend any cash. So there's a motivator there.
Okay.
Now I accrue a balance. So say people come in and eat lunch, they pay me $100 BizX. The check comes, they put this down, they pay gratuity in cash. Now I've got 100 BizX that came from a table that otherwise would have been empty. Something breaks in my bathroom, like a sink is leaky. So instead of going to Google to find a handyman, I go to BizX, to the network, and I find a handyman. I call him up, I say, hey Craig, you're the handyman in this scenario.
Okay.
Craig, this is Dan, I found you in BizX. I got a problem my sink is leaking. Can you come by and fix it? You say, yes, I can be by tomorrow at 11. So you come by, you do the job, and I pay, just say it's $100.
Sure.
I pay you 100 BizX. You, by definition, you only got that call because you were willing to accept the BizX.
Right, you accepted.
That's why you got
now
it.
You got the credit.
So in other words, you turn wasted time into value.
Okay, so you basically open up new channels of opportunity.
Then you spend that.
So that right there, because my next question
was
was going to be, what's the advantage? I think that's it, right? Is the fact that by being in this community, you're opening yourself up to business you wouldn't have had?
You get new customers you wouldn't have had otherwise, and they pay you in a network currency that's equal to the dollar. And then you spend those right back in the network, so it's new customers, but then you improve your cash flow. Because when I served those 2 new customers who were eating at my restaurant, and I accrued a balance, great, new customers. When I spent that on you, where I otherwise would have had to pull a $100 bill out of my register, I improved my cash flow.
A lot of this cryptocurrency that people are talking about, it's so hard for them to, it's not a tangible thing. People just don't understand it. And by the way, by people, I mean like me, right? It's a complicated thing. What I think is really interesting about this is you're building relationships, right? You're building a network of community and a real life interaction that wouldn't have been there before if you hadn't created this community of like credit.
You got it.
Currency.
You nailed it. You nailed it. So the value of the network itself, beyond the transactional, financial, very material value, the value purely of the network is massive. I mean, networks have changed the way we live, right?
Sure.
Networks have shrunk in the world.
I mean, that's what social media is.
No question. And so for us, our big why ultimately is to be a resource, really the resource for small and medium-sized business owners who are fighting for their lives. So small and medium-sized business owners represent over 99% of all businesses in the United States of America. And they deliver a third of the total GDP, roughly $7 trillion. And they waste $2 trillion worth of capacity. They have available for sale that goes unsold. And so, and it's hard to support this group.
So like the painter who has extra paint.
No question, the empty table at the restaurant, the unsold ad pages, the empty hotel room, the stall at the auto mechanic that's just empty.
Sure.
And so, we look at this and we say, well, how do we support this group? And it's really through those 2 things, which is how to help them leverage their spare capacity to earn additional revenue and use that revenue to offset
and tap into new sources of commerce they would have never had.
Exactly.
I think it's fascinating.
So we've got these 6,700 members. Last year they transacted $100 million between each other in the network, all just like we've talked about.
$100 million.
Yeah, all that wouldn't have existed otherwise.
How do people find out about you? I'm assuming that a good person to reach out to would be someone who owns a business, right?
Yeah, so it's all business owners.
Okay.
And it's a B2B network, so the proportion of each industry vertical to the total network is relative to what businesses demand. So media is our #1 industry.
Okay.
Because it's ubiquitous, all businesses can use it, and small and medium-sized business owners sometimes don't think they have the resources to get it.
Sure.
To advertise,
right? Got it, yeah.
So each of these networks and business owners go to our website. It's bizx.com. It's free to join, free to be a part of it. We charge transaction fees, so a small fee on every dollar
That's how you make
transacted.
your money.
That's how we make our money, but it's free to be a part of it outside of that. But our members, actually, to answer your question directly, BizX has grown because our members have grown it. Because there's inherent value that increases the more members that join.
Sure.
So members reach out and
feeding
they
on
refer
itself.
each other, and yeah, that's how.
Love it. Daniel Kosh, Chief Growth Officer with BizX, bizx.com. I think it's a great story. I'm going to be really interested to watch your journey over the next 6, 12, 18 months. But you're in this world now that the game's changed.
Yeah.
The game's changed. You guys are tapping into it. I think it's fascinating. Daniel, thanks for coming on the
man.
show.
Appreciate it.
All right, more of the American Dream coming up next.
Presented by Churchill Mortgage and Champion Title.
Well, as you know, the American Dream is a national program where we focus on business, the entrepreneurial spirit, overcoming adversity, finance, the market, all things that are relevant to empowering your American dream. But a big topic of conversation on this show is housing. So what we do is we integrate local, top-producing, award-winning realtors to cover a wide range of topics on that subject, different micro markets, different niche subject matter. Housing is such a big topic, so we're going to bring you a lot of information right now from some of the best in your market. Let's check out these interviews.
We're going to go check in with Donna Kerr of Donna Kerr Real Estate Group. She's broker owner, and she's at her $1 million listing doing some super creative marketing. What's going on over there, Donna?
Hey everybody, welcome to 230 Whitmore Terrace in beautiful Woodmore. We're here at this gorgeous house. I mean, just like look at this kitchen, right? And it walks right out onto the deck, and then beyond is the northwest branch of the Anacostia River. So it's just a great, great house. I started a program, and I'm so excited about all of the food that I'm eating that I wanted to share it. So I thought, why not do a cooking video right here at our $1 million listing. First thing that we're gonna do is this is a spaghetti squash if you don't know what it is. So we're gonna cut through the squash on both edges. So we're just gonna put that all in the bowl. Kind of, if you get out the main flesh, then you can keep going. Again, you wanna scrape it all the way down. So you mix all this up. And it smells really delicious, of course, because you can smell the Parmesan cheese and the spices in there. And, you know, whoops. And you just give it a quick toss. Then we're gonna just spread this squash mixture out on the cookie sheet. And then basically, you just kind of, you know, shape it like it's pizza dough. So you want to make about a 9-inch crust, and you want to flatten it, you know, kind of pretty flat. What I forgot to tell you earlier is we have our oven preheating at 350 degrees. So that's hot and ready to go. And so you just make it nice and round to look like a pizza crust. And then once you do that, then basically we're going to toss it into the oven. And so it's gonna cook for, I think we cook it for about 15 minutes on one side, and then we're gonna pull it out and turn it over. So we have our pizza crust here, beautiful, crispy, delicious spaghetti sauce crust. And now we're pretty much gonna top it. So again, I'm gonna take I think we get like a half a cup this time of our cheese. So I'm gonna do it 50% this mixed cheese, and I'll have to get the name of that for you. It's I think a Mexican. It's got like, I don't know, 3 or 4 different kinds of cheeses in it. And so we're gonna have the Mexican, so I'm gonna do a 1/4 cup of the Mexican cheese. I'm just gonna spread that all around. So I'm not doing any sauce on this one. You could do sauce, but instead of doing the sauce, I'm gonna do the margarita tomatoes fresh on top. So we're gonna put the cheese down directly on the crust. Just spread it out nice and evenly. And then I'm gonna do another 1/4 cup of the low-fat mozzarella. Again, this is basically a low-carb, low-fat, high-protein meal, which is really good for weight loss and health, and really also keeps your blood sugar even throughout the day too. So I've been feeling really great ever since I've been on this program and been eating right and, you know, crazy realtor lifestyle. It's like really helps when you have some stable blood sugar. So there's our nice cheese on top. And then we're gonna take just about oh, I've lost my measuring spoon. So let me go ahead and, oh, here they are. So we're gonna go ahead and do just a tablespoon and a half of Parmesan. I'm just gonna sprinkle that all around the pizza. And then a little bit, the pinch again of dried oregano and dried basil. We've got some fresh basil and oregano we're gonna put on top once the pizza comes back out of the oven again. I'm just gonna sprinkle this around on everything. And then I, of course, as I've told you, really like the jalapenos, so I've diced them all up. And I'm just gonna sprinkle some of the jalapenos around, get those all to melt into the cheesy goodness. I don't like my pizzas like too full of too much, so I would just pick a few favorites. And then we're gonna take our thinly sliced tomatoes and we're just gonna lay them around the pizza. Alrighty. And really you can use anything. You can use low-fat sausage, you can use grilled chicken would be nice on top. And then finally, I'm just gonna do a little bit of cracked red pepper on top, a little bit of red pepper, and a little bit of additional Parmesan cheese here, just because, you know. So I increased the temperature here to 450 degrees. So one thing about pizza making at home is the oven needs to be really hot. So whether you're using this crust or you're using, you know, just a store-bought crust or your own crust, you want a hot oven. And so then you only have to cook it for a few minutes. So I've cranked that up to 450. And I have my pizza stone in the oven that's been heating. So I'm gonna pull the actual whole rack out because I'm just gonna lay this crust right on top of the stone. I am gonna leave the parchment just to make the in and out very easy. So we just put it in on the pizza stone on the parchment, and the oven we cranked up to 450 degrees, and we're gonna check it in about 6 minutes to see if it's done. I like my crust or my cheese a little golden, so we might cook it a little longer, but we'll just see what happens in 6 minutes. Okay, so here we are. It wasn't ready at 6, so we left it in for 2 more minutes, but I think we're ready to come out. You can see the finished product here. And there we have it, our delicious amazing pizza. So it smells so good. Oh my God. So now just for the final touches, I've got some basil here that I'm gonna just quickly chop up. So here's our finished product. Chicken margarita pizza with fresh basil and oregano on a spaghetti squash crust. 359 calories, I think. And just like amazing. So delicious. Thanks so much for joining us today. It was like a really great day to show you this amazing house, and hopefully you've learned some things on how to eat healthy and be healthy. And I'm just happy to be on again today, and just want to ask all of you out there if there's anything I can do, any resources I can be for pretty much anything home related, your lifestyle related. I want to be there for you. So please reach out, Donna at DonnaCareGroup.com. See you again soon. Thanks. Bye.
Donna, you never cease to amaze us, always creating innovative ways to showcase your properties. Keep it up, because we love watching.
You just heard from award-winning realtors about your marketplace. It's one thing to find your dream home. It's another thing to finance it. I've traveled the country to find the best mortgage experts in every city. You're going to hear from yours in a Mortgage Minute right now. Let's check it out.
We've got Jim McQuaig here for the Mortgage Minute, and he is talking about an exciting new loan program that is launching on February 8th. Jim, thank you so much for sharing this great information with us. Unfortunately, though, this is just for doctors, right?
Yeah, it's just doctors, actually medical doctors, dentists, that kind of thing. The nice thing about it is it's a 5% down payment, so you only need 5% down, up to $2 million, which is, and there's no mortgage insurance required. So that's kind of a remarkable, the rates on these things are super low as well. So I think today you can get 3 1/8% on a 5.5 ARM with no points of origination, just the normal closing costs. So it's pretty exciting stuff. They also, for doctors, do not look at student loans and count them against you in your ratios.
Wow.
So it can be very helpful for folks in residency.
Absolutely. Doctors out there, we hope you're listening. Jim, thank you so much.
That's all for today's show. Hey, don't forget, we're way more active online than what you see on cable. Make sure you follow us there as well on social media. Do it on your phone. Just do it. You're thinking about it. Do it. Go to your phone. AmericanDreamNetwork.tv. We'd love to hear from you. Engage in the conversation. Of course, cheers to your American Dream. See you next time. Hey, Craig Sewing here, your host of The American Dream. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. I want to invite you to engage in the conversation outside of the show. How do you do that? Visit us online and on social media. We have so much activity happening there. Full interviews, resources, all kinds of cool stuff that you can engage with us and our conversation and help support the American Dream, where we're combating all that negative stuff you see in the media. But don't forget, I also want to be your #1 consumer advocate, so anything we can help you with, finance, real estate, mortgage, tax planning, estate planning, even credit scoring, we have the resources and the relationships that we can help you. Visit us online, engage in the conversation on social media, and don't forget, we want to empower your American Dream, so reach out if you ever need anything. Thank you so much for tuning into the show, and thank you so much for following us on social media and engaging in the conversation. Cheers to your American Dream.